Howdy folks, Corrects here, and welcome to Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 140. And today we're going to delve back into the 3050 Hermes II, which we talked about, I think, in episode 59. And everything kind of just stands the same. So, do we need to do another one? Yeah, we do. Alright. The Hermes II. Alright, it's slightly different. It's been upgraded a little bit with some new equipment that comes up with 3050 technology and kind of stays the same. But let's just delve into it. Alright, the Hermes II is a 40-ton mech. You know, those 40-ton mechs seem to disappear into the ether someplace. So they don't get used very much for some reason. It's either 35-tonners or 45-tonners. 40-tonners just kind of disappeared. But alright, it is a 40-tonner. It comes in with Indosteel, so there's one upgrade it has right there. So it has Indosteel, which gives it another 2 tons of equipment possible. It carries around still the standard engine, so it is a 690. Nothing else has been upgraded, still the same. It does have an upgrade going from, I think it was 10 standard heat sinks before to 10 doubles, which is kind of a benefit in a way because, you know, all the heat that this thing creates, not really. So in some ways, double heat sinks really aren't needed too much, but they're handy in case you get hit with an Inferno or something. It has 120 points of armor, which is still the same from the old one, which was, what, the 2S, I think it is. So it's got 120. It's a little short, like a ton, maybe a ton and a half, I think, short of maximum. It has equipment. All right, it still has an autocannon 5, which is an ultra autocannon. So it has been upgraded from a AC5 to an ultra cannon, which, you know, that's, you know, a ton extra. We have one, okay, they got the AC5 in the right torso, and then Ultra 5 that has the ton of ammo in the left torso, has a flamer in the left arm, and a medium pulse laser in the right arm. So basically, we have kind of the same mech, but the big difference here is it has Indosteel and some pulse lasers. So not bad. So they upgraded the medium laser to a pulse laser, and then they upgraded the AC5 to an ultra AC5. Not a bad mech overall. It's kind of a slight improvement, maybe you could say, over the previous version, because now you can do, possibly, if you roll an 8, if you hit, then you got to do another 8 or better, then you get another 5 points of damage if you decide to double pump that autocannon. Okay, that's not bad. Everything pretty much stands the same with using this mech. It's a 690, doesn't have the jump jets, which I would like to have on a mech of its size and stature. Because at 6.9, yes, 6.9 is good moving. In the 30-39 era, typically that's a pretty good mech. But when we're talking into the 30-50 era, where you have the possibility of facing off with clans or even mechs that are getting new technology and pulse lasers and targeting computers, 6.9 is not really going to cut it too well. You're going to need some possible benefits or something else. And typically, I like to have a couple, you know, at least have some jump jets on this thing, because if you decide to get out of a hairy situation where you have to run, because you may not get all the modifiers you need to increase your modifiers to be hit. So jumping might be your best option to get out of the, and it doesn't have that option. So that is one problem with this mech. And when you look at the newer technology era, If you're facing off clans, which typically have a 3-pilot or gunnery, or a 2-gunner, then pulse lasers and a targeting computer, they just look at it, okay, yeah, you got a 2-mod or a 3-mod. We just erase that, and we're just going to blast you off the face of the earth. And they're going to hit you with like with large pulse lasers and that kind of stuff. So next thing you know, you're just a pile of wreckage. So you're going to have something a little bit extra. Now, another problem with this mech, which is the same problem you had with the other one, is that you're looking at having 1 ton of ammo sitting in a bay and the left torso that all you gotta do is get a crit. Now you do have double heat sinks, so there's 3. So it used to be 1. You had I think 1 heat sink in there, and in the ammo, so you had a 50% chance, I think it was, to hit the ammo. Now you got 25% for the first crit. Then it goes, just progressively gets larger as you slowly take out areas. So if you had got a crit in that left torso and they rolled 3 of them, the odds are this mech's disappearing because, well, you have ammo, but it doesn't have case. All right, so I would have preferred, instead of upgrading to a pulse laser, I'd rather kept it a medium laser and then put some case on this thing, because if you do hit that ammo, you're losing only part of the mech, and the mech can say, okay, yeah, I just lost half my mech, his ammo explosion, my pilot's hurt. I'm going to turn around and try to disengage off this map, because you're looking at some major damage to your mech. Yeah, you've already lost the good chunk of your weapon capability at long range, so you might as well disengage. You can't do that if you don't have the case. So we're making a case for case. Saying that. Well, that is one thing that this mech definitely needs, because that is the biggest problem you have in the 30, 25, 39 era, is that, or the Succession Wars, is ammo, when it goes off, it takes out almost completely the entire mech. So you're better off throwing some case on this thing. If you're going to run ammo and you have the capability of putting it on, put it on. That's all I can say. And I have to say, one good thing about it is it does have the endo steel from the factory. So that is a good ability to upgrade stuff. So there you go. Use it to upgrade from blowing sky high if you do hit the ammo. Now, also, I'm kind of a firm believer, is like, I'd rather have my ammo in the same area as my autocannon. So, yeah, if you got the autocannon in the right torso, you might as well put the ammo in the right torso also, along with the case. So it's all on one side. So if it does go, there you go. Now, other than, let's see, we got a couple variants which are farther down the line, in the era. Okay, let's look at it here. Capabilities. We talked about the Dark Shadow replacing the. We're looking at the Mercenary Elite employed with the Dark Shadows. They replaced the weapon system with a light Gauss rifle. Okay, so that's a little bit farther down the range. And the era, it's going from a AC5 Ultra to a light Gauss rifle. Okay, that's one good thing. The other variants include the Davian Light Guards. We had the 6D, which includes modification, extended range, swapping the autocannon for a rotary AC5 variant. So, okay, so they clicked off a little bit of stuff, and then they replaced it with the rack, the rack 5 or whatever it was. So yeah, that might be a thing. You can burn through a lot of ammo really quick and then jam up. I've never been understood the whole purpose of it. Seemed like every time I use a rack rotary autocannon, it just locks up on me. Never fails. Never been a fan of it myself. I'd rather take an energy weapon. But if you do get it to just raffle stomp down range, that's a lot of damage that can hit. So if you roll. That's another problem is I always had with autocannons is that if you like ultras and stuff like that is that you're forced to do another die roll just to see how many hit. That's a problem I don't like. Okay, that's just personal opinion. And then the Blake, word of Blake, there we go. They got the 5C, which they've done is employed a large laser loop. So they ripped off the autocannon and put on a ER large laser and a trio ER medium lasers. Okay, mounts an XL engine and C3 slave and narc. So what they done there is that got rid of the autocannon, and then they turned around and gone from a AC5 to ER large laser, a bunch of medium lasers, XL engines, and then with the capability that they have, put a C3 system in there. So basically, not a bad mech. You got the XL engines in it, but let's see if we can dig that one up. That's the 5C. See if I can find it real quick. Pull it up. 5C. Where's it? There we go. Alright, 5C. Let's see. We got it's a 696 double heat sinks, ER large laser, flamer, guardian ECM, LP pulse, and a small laser. That ain't it. That doesn't look right. Okay, there we go. Alright, we got one large laser in the right torso. We got three medium ER medium lasers in the right arm. We got improved narc in the left arm with a ton of ammo. And then we got an improved C3 system. So that is in the center torso. Still has 120 armor. Got the XL engine and everything. So it does have some good firepower out to range. It's still a 690. Doesn't have any jump jets or anything. That comes out in the 62 era. So not bad. The only problem is the XL. It doesn't have the speed that I'd like, but 6.9 is about the minimum I really like to have with the XL engine. So anytime you have a mech that has XL, you're trying to pump its speed up as much as possible, take advantage of the speed and try to protect it, because the least lower amount of damage you can take. Okay, so that's pretty much it with that one. That's not bad. It works for the Word of Blake, especially when they have all almost everybody's running C3. And then we got the 5SA, which is a training mech. Has an XL engine, upgraded medium pulse laser to a large pulse. So basically, they use the XL engine to go from take that medium pulse laser, upgrade to a large pulse laser. So yeah, it has the autocannon and the large pulse. So, and that's supposedly a training mech. So odds are it's not going to see too much action unless the area gets hit with a invasion for some reason, which is possible, I guess. All right, so that brings us up to some things. What would we do? All right, if you don't want to mess too much with the mech itself, one of the things I would do is, first thing, all right, let's just look at this thing. We do have that 2 tons, and I did say before, if you're going to keep it with the Ultra 5 AC, first thing I would do is leave it as a medium laser and then put a half-ton in a case to protect it from an ammo explosion, and then obviously you got an extra half-ton. Probably put it into armor, or if you do have one of these things, it does have plenty of open crit spots. You could put ferrofibrous armor on it and upgrade the armor value even more. So if you look at that, so we got the 5S just for looking at things. You could go with let's say it still has the medium laser, and then you put the case on to protect from an ammo explosion. You would have okay, let's put the ferrofibrous armor on. Yep, you still got 8 spots left. And then you could upgrade that. So you could max out the armor with ferrofibers, or put another medium laser for that matter, if you wanted to. Yeah, if you just want, you could add another medium laser for that matter, and put ferrofibers. Just by ferrofibers alone, you'd go up to 125 versus the 120. And if you didn't, you could always put an ER medium, or not an ER medium or small laser, but just small laser for that matter, and that would still change things up a wee bit. So yeah, you could do that, and you would have 134 points of armor with ferrofibrous, and you would gain a small laser, medium laser, and AC5 Ultra, and the flamer still. And the only difference in this mech is you got case and you have ferrofibrous armor and more armor. So that is keeping it within the parameters of what it was, and all you've done was change a few things. That's all you did. Now, you could, if you put on the ferrofibrous armor on just alone by itself and didn't change any of the weapon systems, you could put case on just by using the ferrofibrous armor, this saving you have with the tonnage. So that is one way to upgrade it. Just standard, nothing messed with it at all. So now, there's a couple options I would do myself if I'm looking at this mech. Would be to all right. First thing, let's say you want to get rid of the autocannon. You drop the autocannon, and you want to replace it with a ER large laser, because that's the technology that we have available. That's one thing I would do. You just saved a bunch of tonnage. I would put ferrofibrous armor on, because if you got a good tech with the rig and everything, you set everything up. Maintenance bay on the ship, go ahead and do that. Or if you have something in the field that you have access to, go ahead and put ferrofibrous armor on there, and that would kick it up to like 134 points of armor. So now you got an ER large laser, you got the flamer, keeping the medium pulse laser, haven't changed anything. You can put let's say Guardian ECM on, protect yourself a little bit. All right, that might be handy. Keep the Artemis down, shut down any type of C3 systems that might be wandering in your area, and you still have room to put on a small laser just for something up close and personal. Because you got the flamer that only goes out a short distance. You might, if you put a small laser on there, okay. And then obviously with this mech with a flamer, if you see any type of infantry around, you're going to barbecue them. So now you got a small laser, you can do the same thing. So there's a lot of extra things you can do just because you downgraded that autocannon to a ER large. All right, the potential damage with the ER large is 2 points less, but the odds are, I find that you're typically only going to do 5 points of damage with that autocannon anyway, because you still got to roll an 8 or better just to get the second shot to hit. So yeah, it's like not even really 50% chance of doing one way or the other. So now, one other way I've done, I've looked at this is if you don't want to, oh, and I did make it a 696. So I took a lot of that tonnage that you saved and made it a little more mobile. Now, if you want a purist and you like the 10 points of damage, here's another option. Is you got the double heat sinks, and you can use the dissipation capability of those things. Drop the AC5 Ultra down and make it an ER-PPC. So 10 points is still 10 points. Then you got the jump jet, so you're still at 696. Double heat sinks. Didn't change any of the weapons, and then you can just add ferrofibrous armor on, and that would kick you up to 134 points of armor. There you go. Not much different. So you have a couple different variants that you could use just by changing one weapon, the autocannon. And I kind of prefer the one with the ER large laser. Yeah, possible damage is a little too less, but I like the capability of having a little bit of ECM available because, you know, ECM can be used for a lot of different things out there. And personally, like I've said many times, autocannons do not belong on light mechs or medium mechs. I just don't like them on there at the lower end of the medium mechs because they're so heavy. They don't have the tonnage capability to carry around, so you're wrapping everything up into one weapon system and you're only doing 5. It's kind of like a holdover from way back in the day when heat management was a big problem. But with the advent of all of the double heat sinks stuff, you might as well go towards the energy department for doing more damage. Now, that's just my thought process on the whole thing when it comes to lights and mediums. All right, so there you go. And if you got those autocannons and stuff like that, give them to your infantry. Put them in pillboxes and stuff, or put them on carriages so they can roll around. So now they got some autocannons and stuff. There, yeah, okay. All right, that's pretty much it for the Hermes II. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends, and we will talk with you later. Elcrex out.